Okay, even though we own 27 tripods, apparently I can't find any of them, so you could look at the bottom of my cabinet. Sorry. A bunch of you have asked me for sourdough starter, and then I realized that some of you have never dealt with starter or made sourdough, so I just want to make a quick video on feeding and taking care of your starter. My starter, this is Sylvia. She was way overfed yesterday because I planned on making more bread, but then that didn't happen. So she rose, you can see, to here, and then she fell. So I'm going to feed Sylvia now so that I can take some of her and bring her to you guys to make your own starter. So I got my handy dandy scale. I think weighing your ingredients is very important. Some people measure, I weigh, it's not hard, it keeps you accurate. I've got my clean weck jar. When I am not cooking or sharing starter, I use a smaller weck jar because I keep a tiny amount of starter when I'm not cooking. Okay, by the way, over here, this is Sylvia's home. It's literally called home. It's a sourdough home. It has a temperature here on the front so that I can manage her warm if I want to feed her and I want her to grow quickly, or cold if I want her to chill out and wait for me. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to turn on my scale. I'm going to start off with 0 with my jar on there, so that way I know how much of what I'm adding. I'm going to do a big feed today because I do want to share with you guys, and I do actually, again, I want to try to cook later. I like to feed at a 1-5-5 ratio. I just think it keeps the sourdough stronger. That's 1 part sourdough, 5 parts flour, 5 parts filtered room temperature water. So we're going to do 25, whoa, or 36, or 40. Okay, fine, 40, whatever, 40 it is, who cares? 40 grams of starter. 4 times 5 is 2, so that'll be 200 grams. Is that right? Yeah, 200 grams of water. So I'm going to re-zero my scale. If you're a little bit over, it's okay. You just add more flour. Okay, so I've got 204 grams of water, no big deal. Now, this is a mistake I think a lot of people make. They do not thoroughly mix when they feed, and so then you have pockets of hungry starter and pockets of flour that don't get used, and I think that just makes for an issue. So I do a really good job of mixing my starter. This is going to be a big starter because I didn't do good math when I decided to stick with the 40, but it's okay because I'm bringing you guys some. So it's okay. So I want to make sure that there's no chunks, no pockets, no little bits. Okay, so we'll set that there. By the way, I use silicone spatulas, and they are the best ever, and they're cheap on Amazon. Okay, so I'm going to add in mostly bread flour, which is actually this. That's why I got this out. This is King Arthur organic. You don't have to use organic. This happened to be on sale, so I bought organic. I always use bread flour. Not everybody does, but I like the bread flour, and it has a higher protein, and we like protein. Okay, so I'm going to use mostly bread flour. So let's say I'm going to put, I need 200 grams of flour. Let's say I'm going to do 170 grams. Oh, I didn't zero out. Okay, that's okay. So then I need 370 grams total. Okay, there's 347, 360. There's 375. Actually, I went a little bit over. And then I like to use rye flour. Not because I love rye bread, although I have learned this does give it a lot better flavor. This is like superfood for sourdough. So this really keeps your sourdough fed and happy. So I need to get up to total of 400. Oops, take a little bit out of there. Again, a little bit too much is okay. You just add a little bit more water. All right, now I have a job ahead of me because this is a lot. So again, I have got to get it completely mixed, which takes a minute. So I'm actually gonna pause because you don't want to sit here and watch me stir for 30. Okay, dogs are dropping bones behind me. That's what that horrible noise is. So I'm still working on building up my muscles because I did so much starter. Now I personally have started to try to get away from plastic. So personally, I'm only using glass kind of for everything, even for food storage and whatnot. That's one of the many reasons that I use the weck jars. So you notice I'm really scraping down the sides, making sure that I get in there. Now, recently I've learned that some people, 30 or 40 minutes after they do their feed, if they are going to cook with that one, that they'll do another stir. Oh gosh, that's the bread that I'm cooking right now. So heck, why not? We'll just skip to what it's gonna, stop beeping! We're gonna skip to what it's gonna turn into. Let's get the bread out of the oven. Gosh, I feel like a food influencer. Oh lordy, that's hot. Oh lordy, I overcooked that bread a little bit. All right. Look at that, with a little bit of burnt edges. That's never happened to me before. But we had a 5-second power outage that happened while I was preheating. Oh my Lord, get in there. So, I don't know, I might have gotten some time wrong, but that's okay. It's still gonna be delicious. All right, we gotta get it out of that super hot Dutch oven because otherwise it's just gonna keep cooking. Look at that, baby. Can you smell it? We need smell-o-vision. Okay, so I'm just gonna stick all that back over out of the way here while that bread cools enough for me to cut it and eat it while it's hot, even though they say don't do that. I don't care, I do it because I like it. Okay, so I think I pretty well, I mean, I hope I pretty well got this mixed because this is what I'm bringing to y'all. Okay, so I'm gonna take my fingers. I washed my hands, maybe. I mean, I did wash my hands. Okay, scrape that off my fingers in there. I'm gonna drop this here. I'll wipe that off my fingers. Okay, so now I have a fully fed starter. Now here's the problem. If I were going to keep all of this myself, I would have a problem because Sylvia is gonna grow. Most people say look for it to double. My Sylvia almost always triples. She is one strong lady. She's named after my grandmother, and my grandmother was a strong lady. So this would be a problem if I were keeping all this, except for I'm not. I'm gonna separate out a bunch of this and bring it for you guys to make your own sourdough. So after it is fed, there's lots of options. If you're not gonna cook with it, you can put it in the refrigerator. I like my home because I only put it on about 45 degrees, which is warmer than the fridge, so it doesn't completely make it dormant. But you can put it in the fridge. You can leave it on the counter. It's going to eat and grow faster on the counter, so you're gonna have to feed it more often if you leave it out in the warm. If you want to cook with it, get it a little bit warm. Now, I don't mean like put it in the microwave or heat it in the oven. You can put it in the oven and turn the oven light on, and that will heat it just a little bit. However, be careful that somebody in the house doesn't come along and turn on the oven and ruin your starter. Don't kill Sylvia's babies. How do you know when Sylvia is ready to cook with? Well, one, she will have doubled or more. I used to take a Sharpie and I'd make a line so that I could see whether she's doubled, but I've been doing this long enough now I can just see, I know. You'll notice that there'll be little bubblies all over here. If you hit it, you'll see it fall and all the bubbles will come out. If you stir it, it looks kind of cool like spider webs. That's how you know when it's ready to cook, at peak. If it's fallen all the way back down, it's, some people cook with that. I don't, it's not really ready to cook. So how long after you feed it before it's finished eating? Oh, I think I see some flour there. That depends upon the temperature. The warmer it is, the faster it's going to eat and the faster it's going to grow. That's why when I'm ready, when I want to cook, I'll feed and then put my sourdough home on like 78 degrees and butt it if she eat fast. Then she likes to be warm. She's a beach babe. So after that, it is time to start mixing your dough. Now, I'm not going to go into that on this video. I'm going to tell you that Pantry Mama Simple Sourdough is a good place to start. Very informative website, very helpful. It's how I started. I no longer use their recipe. I use a much lower hydration recipe now, and I just found it's easier to manage and easier to handle, but trial and error. Listen, trial and error. In the beginning, I had a science experiment going on. I had like 12 jars with different starters, trying different things. You can do that or not. I made my own starter from scratch. I do not recommend it. It takes forever, and without the sourdough home, it's really hard. But if you want to make it, there's tons of recipes. Again, Pantry Mama has one. Oh gosh, I'm at 10 minutes. I have to shut up now. Okay, so here's your starter. This is how to feed it. It can stay in the refrigerator unfed for a pretty good amount of time. I just left Sylvia for 3 weeks last time, and she wasn't happy when I got home, but she was okay. I'm happy to answer any additional questions. You can really find them on the World Wide Web, but I don't mind. I'm happy to answer. So here's Sylvia. She's coming your way.